Alright, so we're gonna try this again. I just filmed this tutorial and it, for whatever reason, didn't work. So we're gonna do it one more time. Basically, what I want to show you guys in this tutorial is how to use the FLP templates that I make. What kind of goes into them, how to use them, where to find things, what to do if there's problems, and whatnot. So first things first, you're going to go to New from Template and open it. I'll show you how to save a project. To get it here, you basically go to Save As. You want to go to Documents, Image Line, FL Studio, Projects, Templates, and then save it here. And then after you save it, you can go to New from Template and it'll show up here. So I'm going to open up the New Atlanta template I just made. Alright, so it kind of takes a while sometimes, but it's worth it. Saves you time in the back end. Let me see if we have audio here. Okay, perfect. Last time we didn't have audio. So anyway, alright, I want to start in the channel rack. And for now, just ignore the air body audio. I want to talk about what we have here. So we have a piano, a flute, and then the Spins 808, a snare, and a hi-hat. In the piano, I already have it loaded up to the LA Custom Grand default preset of Keyscape. It's a great piano to use for these. I'll show you what to do in a minute if you don't have these exact presets. The flute is Analog Labs, Strawberry Flutes, and then Spins 808, snare, hit one hi-hat. Okay, basic, just trap drums. You'll see this beat's like actually very simple from just the sound selection. But so now that you have those loaded up, you can obviously start cooking up. But I want to show you something cool I did inside the mixer. So if you open up the mixer, you'll see that the drums are in red, which correlates here, and the instruments are blue, which correlates here. And then the instruments are actually routed to a bus called the band bus, and then the drums are routed to a bus called the drum bus, and then the drum and the band bus each are routed to the master. I'll show you why I did that in a second. That's actually just my workflow, but it allows you to mix the band or all the instruments together and the drums together. You can do certain things, but for now I want to start down here on the hi-hat and then just work our way down. So on each of these different channels, I added a fruity notebook with like good tips and tricks for this subgenre of trap and like what you can do to like make sure you're in that vibe. So like for example, on the 808, I made a note that like at faster tempos with more hits, you're going to turn the out knob of the 808 up like this to make it shorter versus leaving it down like this. Okay, so I just had it about right here for the template. But for faster tempos or in beats where you hit a lot of 808s, just turn the knob up and it'll make it more bouncy and less like drawn out and just like super 808y, if that's even a word. And then for slower tempos and less hits, you can leave it longer because those notes aren't going to be overlapping as much. Obviously, you always want to cut itself by the 808, but that's not really the point here. So, okay. Each channel has one of those on it. And each channel also has, not each channel, but some channels have a plugin already set up. So like the hi-hats, Looperator or Effectrix, if you have Effectrix, is a great way to get like Atlanta trap hi-hats. You can just open it up and use like the loop section here, and it'll make like really cool rolls. For the snare, I don't mix my snares. 808s, I don't mix my 808s usually. And then for the flute, I have another note here. Sorry, my phone just vibrated. And then another note here for the piano. And this one's cool because it's like you're working with an 8-bar loop, use a basic 3-chord progression with a simple arpeggiated melody on top. Not a lot of notes, not a lot of rhythm, just super straightforward because, you know, on these little baby New Atlanta type beats, you know, he's rapping his ass off. So he doesn't need a whole lot of help from the instrumentation for rhythmic and stuff like that. But anyway, so yeah, the mixer has all of these notes and then some of these um, presets or plugins already set up so that you can start somewhere to mix. So for the band bus, I route both of these instruments here, and then I threw an RC20 on it with a preset that I like, and you can just start building from there if you want. Turn it on if you want to use it, leave it off if you don't. And then for mastering, I just used a mastering EQ where I have the 8K boosted at 4 dB and the 230 hertz boosted at 2 dB. You can play with that. I wouldn't go higher than 2 here, and I wouldn't go higher than 4 here, but you can turn it down for sure, or just leave it off in general. And then a soft clipper on the master. So that's all the cool stuff about the mixer. That was all the cool stuff about the channel rack. Now let's go to the playlist and explain what's going on here. So as you can see, I set time markers for the different sections of this beat that you can use once you have your patterns, which in this beat or in this type of beat, you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns that you can repeat and kind of like move around or make unique as you see fit. But you're going to need at least 5 main patterns here for the intro hook, verse A, verse B, and verse C. And then I also have the song muted, but you can unmute it and play it. Everybody to it. Helicopter the middle of the hood. I used to pray for a plug and go out the house big as fuck. I usually just go to the different tabs here and listen to see like what happened from, you know, verse B to verse C and make a mental note of that. And then I do that for each of these 5 sections here. And then when I'm arranging my beat, I try to like do something around those same lines, or maybe the same type of like, oh, the energy went up here because they added a layer on the snare with a clap, so the energy's higher on verse C versus verse B, or whatever. It's going to be a bunch of different things, but that's why I have the audio in here for you to reference. So it's muted so that while you're playing your beat or making your pattern, obviously you're not going to hear it, which is good. So yeah, just to recap, the instruments and sounds are preloaded. Oh, if you don't have one of these instruments, like if you don't have Keyscape, that's okay. All you would need to do is load up a different instrument. So for example, we can load up, let's say you only have the stock plugins for FL. You can just load up a FL keys here. That's why I just put piano, not Omnisphere, because you don't need Omnisphere. Obviously, Omnisphere sounds better than FL keys, but you get the point. And then I zipped up the file, so you will actually get these drum sounds in the actual FLP that I send over, as long as you open the zip file and then open the FLP from there, which I'll just show real quick how that works. Let me close out of this. Let me move my head. You would just double click on the FLP or the zip file that I send you. And then it creates a folder. You just open the folder. And then you'll see the samples I used are there. Here, 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 and here. I renamed them for the project to keep them simple, but those are the actual files. And then you open up the project, double click, and then it'll open it up for you with how we did it in the beginning. As long as you save it correctly, then you can open it up from here. So yeah, that's pretty much how to use these. They're going to save you so much time, so much second guessing, allow you to get into a vibe that you know you want to make with the sounds already pre-selected for you. This is just a much more efficient workflow I've found for you to be just more prolific as a producer. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys to check these out, dive into them, give me feedback. I would love for you guys to tell me, you know, some of the type beats or type songs or just literal reference songs that you want me to create templates for, like I did for everybody. But yeah, just let me know, and we'll talk soon.